Tisziji Munoz may not be a guitarist you know, but for me, he's one of the great guitarists of our time. Tisziji is not just an incredible guitar player, he's a spiritual teacher and a healer. And I think for Tisziji, that comes first. And his guitar playing is just an expression of that healing.
What's the difference between talking about it and...
What's it?
Tisziji Munoz was born on July the 15th in 1946, and he is an American jazz guitarist. He served as a drummer in the 440th US Army Band. He left the US Army in 1969, and in the 1970s he lived in Canada and New York City. He then began playing with the great Pharoah Saunders, the free jazz saxophone player that had made his name in the John Coltrane group at the end of the 1960s. In 1978 he recorded his first album on the Indian Navigational label, which was called Rendezvous with Now.
The great drummer Bob Moses, who is known for playing with some of the greatest jazz musicians in the 1960s and 70s, including his groundbreaking drumming on Pat Metheny's debut album, actually spent the 70s in a state of chaos. He found peace when he met the guitarist Tisziji Munoz. And not only did they become musical collaborators, but he also became Bob Moses' spiritual teacher. We are surrounded by beauty, but how often do we stop to try and appreciate it? And those of us who want to be musicians, how many of us actually stop to appreciate the beauty and consider how we as musicians can try and reflect that, not for our own ego, but for a celebration of being alive and in the world at this moment.
Why should people practice?
Well, they have to determine for themselves. that the way they're being without practice, so to speak, whatever practice can be for them, is not enough. But they're stuck in a pattern, let's say. So you need to practice to create a gap, like a pause point, like a rest point, where you're okay with your life, not completely, but you're okay with what's happened, so as not to bring any darkness to it. But you're open, you're really okay and open to what can give you more strength to do more. If it's within you to want to do more, if you feel you need to do more, let's say, so you need the strength and you need protection. So the strength and the protection are two very important things. You have to know how to protect yourself from influences, extraneous and maybe darker, let's say, self-defeating influences that are contrary to your cause. See? And so you need to protect your interest. See, to do better, you need to protect that. And sometimes you have to create conditions that are in accord with that. And you have to protect yourself. I mean, I'm not saying at all costs, particularly in a certain way, I'm saying be violent. But yeah, you have to create your own space. You have to know that you have your own space, and you deserve your own space. You need private space in order to access your own space. Because if it's too compromised, too up someone's, and into someone's, whatever, too much.
It's interesting to consider the effect we have as human beings and how the effect we have on the world around us is so ephemeral. When we look into the world, the most we can really see is a vague shadow of who we are. We know very little of even that. How can we hope to understand the universe and the meaning of life when we all have so little understanding of ourselves? When we look in the mirror, what do we see? Is that truly us? Or is it far more real to see our shadow and realise that within us there's a shadow inside as well as out? And it might be that we need to become familiar with. For me, he's one of those rare musicians like Alan Holdsworth and John Coltrane that seems connected. From what I know about him, and it's not that much actually, is that he started out as a jazz guitarist, and I believe he's a very accomplished jazz guitarist. And he has learned the skills, the structures, and the constraints of improvising jazz, especially over jazz standards. But he seems to have escaped this style of playing more and more. But he differs from other free jazz musicians in that when I listen to Tisziji, he really sounds free. There is no political statement he's trying to make. There is no emotional statement he's trying to make. I believe that he is a guitar player who has been able, through the use of single line soloing, to free himself from a lot of the morals and compunctions that we have to see ourselves as being good or great. And he seems to be the ultimate master of melody. Comparing him to Alan Holdsworth does not, for me, explain the whole picture. Tisziji is a musician that has eschewed the sort of, how could we put this? There is a connection to energy and flow that both guitarists have. Alan Holdsworth was always, for me, fighting his demons. He was trying to inflict order on those demons. And the incredible technique he used to do that was an example of that application of the order. Tisziji may seem, on first listening, to be exploring similar areas, but of course, where's the complex scales? They are there. Where's the complex arpeggios? They are there. Where's the beautiful legato sound? Well, it is there, but there's something else there as well. I discovered Tisziji Munoz about 3 years ago, and I instantly loved the music, but I found it perplexing, to say the least. So I've spent some time with it, and the conclusion I've come to is he is one of the great musicians. This happened over the last few months. I have continually been going back and having a listen again to see what is going on there. And it was actually an interview with Bob Moses that really started to make me realise that this guy should not be judged as a guitarist, that his guitar playing should be judged as the evidence of his teaching and his healing. And in that, he has been able to utilise his playing as a force for good and an example of how we should all perhaps give ourselves a break, learn to express ourselves fully, find the flow that is inside us, identify the stops that stop that flow, to not be afraid of who we really are, to not be afraid of what we could achieve, to not be afraid of what we won't achieve or can't achieve. I wanted to make a video where I showcase this guitarist. I knew that some of the specialist musicians here would know him very well, but I knew so many wouldn't. I have really been into this music for a long time, and yet it was only recently that I discovered him as a player. The albums he's made have been made under very tight commercial constraints, although there is some stuff there that is a little bit higher in production values and quality. He doesn't seem to care so much. It doesn't even seem like he may have even been involved in the release of these albums. There is an otherness about him. So I decided I wanted to create a video which would have his music in, but also would not have his music in, and would have the sounds of nature that were just apparent in the making of this video. There is a subtlety to that sound, isn't there? So even if you don't like the music, even if you don't like his guitar playing, if you've just struggled through this silly video of mine, this pretentious, artsy, fartsy, silly video of me striding around in my garden, acting like some spiritual prophet, which of course I am not. Why don't you, as they used to say on that TV programme here in the UK, in the summer holidays,
We were told, switch off your television and go out and do something less boring instead. When I listened to Tisziji Munoz, who I'm not even too sure how you even pronounce his name, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong all the way through this video. But when I thought about his music today, rather than just sitting in my studio and going through his albums and doing the bog standard job that I normally do, it made me want to walk outside and stand out here, out in nature, and take it all in. And so, I would like to finish this video, not with the music of Mr. Munoz, but with the music of this. Is that camera on, Mr. Gould?
I think so.
I think it's.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we will start the video now then, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, shall we start?
Yes,
right.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Hello, you weren't talking in that accent when I first met you 10 minutes
No,
ago.
no.
I hope you're not taking the mickey.
It's quite addictive, actually. Yeah.
People are always taking the mickey out of mics. Anyway, you will know me. I am Barry Muggle. I am Andy's progressive rock, neo-prog expert. He's asked me to come in and talk about the Sunday Club with Mr. Gould, who is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't think Andy's doing that much, actually, from the look of it.
He's been a big help, actually.
Oh, I don't. He sits there. He's a glory hunter. He's a goal hugger. He's a progressive rock goal hugger, that man is. Anyway, so I think that a lot of people would love the Sunday Club, but I think looking at it, we need to explain it a little bit better. It's a brilliant idea. So this is the room that you will be putting the Sunday Club on in. So who's the first bands you've got on?
Well, the next one we've got, the first one we've got, in actual fact, is on the 24th of May, and it's Tim Bowness.
Oh, he's very good. I believe Andy plays for Tim Bowness.
Tim Bowness.
Well, he was last year. Is he playing for them again?
I've no idea who band he's got, but it's definitely Tim Bowness' support.
Well, he's a superstar progressive rock. I thought No Man with Stephen Wilson was such a brilliant band. And
yeah.
I've been following them for about 30 years. Very, very good band. Tim Bowness. Well, that's incredible.
Yeah. And then,
well, there's another one.
And then, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Headlining, we've got ORK. Right, which features Colin Edwin from
Porcupine Tree, one of my favourites. Yeah. I love Porcupine Tree.
Yeah, and Pat Mastelotto from King Crimson.
Pat Mastelotto, I mean, that's a legend.
Yeah, two legends.
What you're trying to tell me is this beautiful cosy room is going to be housing live two progressive rock legends.
Well, actually three, because of Tim Bowness.
Three. Yes, three progressive rock. I forgot about Colin then.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about Colin. Anyway, the thing is, so you'll have a big stage PA here. So can people buy tickets to come and see this? How would they come and see this?
Well, you can do it two ways.
Yes.
You can either buy a ticket to come in person, even though they're...
That means they come and sit in the room and watch the gig.
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's it,
they're
isn't
a
it?
bit restricted, the tickets, so we need to... move very quickly on that because...
I came in, we've just sat down here, I reckon you're looking at about 40, 50 seats. So once that's gone, no one else is coming in, are they?
No.
And this isn't like a normal gig because they're going to be involved in something quite special, aren't they, this lot?
That's right.
All right, so I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I might have to go to the toilet, so we've got to be quick with this one. I'm feeling very excited by it.
Yeah, but it's not just going to be... a gig as such, it'll be more as an event because we're looking at having interviews and chats.
Oh,
there'll be tea and coffee.
And you could meet the band and chat to them.
We're also hoping to have a record fair here as well.
on a Sunday evening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In this lovely, because it's a lovely place here. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
But what if you can't get a ticket? What do you do then?
Well, if you can't get a ticket to see it live, in person, sitting in the room, we've got an option where you can stream the gig. And the good thing about it, the link will be live after the gig. So if you can't watch it when it's live, you can catch up with it the following day. So it'll be available forever.
If they join the live stream, they can get involved. They don't just sit back and watch it. There'll be things happening.
Absolutely, yeah. There'll be wandering cameras
and all sorts of. They might be able to ask some questions or get involved or put some requests in. Yeah. That's amazing. Now, this week I noticed. Excuse me there, I just had a bit of a burp there. I'm getting too excited with this. It's bringing me gas up. my gas is coming up. It's a thought of Pat Mastalato. I mean, that's a Prog where you played with King Crimson.
I know.
Anyway, I can't believe it. Will he be sat here?
Yeah.
So I'm sat in the same place as Pat Mastalato will be sat in.
Yeah. Wow.
This is amazing.
Be prepared to pay homage.
Well, the thing is, I noticed this week that Andy Edwards has also got involved.
Yes,
right. And I know when he gets involved with stuff, it's mainly he's just a bit of a glory hunter, isn't he? Really, old Andy, bit of a goal hugger, isn't he? But he has set up a Patreon for it.
Yes.
And I've gone and joined the Patreon, and it's actually very good. So the easiest way to get involved in this, if you want to get involved in the Sunday Club, with all these incredible bands, and you've got gigs for the next 12 months.
That's right.
And there's going to be events and all sorts of stuff. If you really want to get bang for your buck, did you like that bit?
I
was thinking that's on the way
quite
in.
a good catchy.
If you want to get some bang for your buck, go over to Patreon. The link is down below and it's on screen now. Become a free member and start to have a look around. Steve will be in there. You can have a chat to him. He'll be putting videos up. There's a chat site in there. There's not many people in there at the moment. But you go and join it as a free member. It costs you nothing. Yeah. And then if you feel so inclined, you can join Tier 1. And if you join Tier 1, you will get all extra content, more exclusive stuff, and you will get access to all the live streams forever. Right, the job is done. You don't have to think about it again. If you want to join this club here, the VIP club, which is where people come down, where there's only limited places, I would suggest you join the high tier, which is called the Sunday Club VIP, because once those places are filled, that will be shut down. There'll be no more. There'll be no more, unless we can really push the tickets up, because actually, in this venue, there's a much bigger venue, isn't there? There's a huge venue. So once we sell more and more tickets now, one of the things I wanted to talk to you, Mr. Gould, about is that, of course, you're a legend in the British progressive rock scene for being the bloke who came up with and have now been the overseer of Fusion Fest, which I do believe is the best fusion. It's the best progressive rock festival.
Well, I'd have to obviously agree with that.
It's a wonder. I've been here. I always keep a low profile.
I can always see you in the audience.
I know.
Can't miss you with that wonderful hair.
I know. I mean, last year they thought Mick Hucknall turned up. I remember. I got quite embarrassed. I hid in the toilet. It was terrible. Anyway, I don't like a lot of attention because I just like to,
come and enjoy the music.
Yeah, come and enjoy some good solid prog.
Yes, and we got plenty of that going.
You are the man. I mean, I listen to his radio. I mean, this is the man. So, what would you say, being someone who's put so many gigs on, what are the threats to progressive rock at the moment? Because we all love it and we all want it to be a thing, carry on. But do you see any threats going on with streaming and all sorts of other things,
Well, let's be realistic. Prog is definitely subculture. It's definitely not popular, shall we say.
Are you sure about this?
I mean, Rick Wakeman actually said it's a bit like buying porn. When you almost feel embarrassed to go in and say, have you got any prog type of thing. And one of my aims is to bring it out of the closet. Because the thing is, even though...
What are you trying to say?
In the modern culture that we are experiencing now, a lot of people think prog died in the late 70s with the advent of punk. and that is so.
I didn't like punk at all.
And then you had the second generation of prog bands with Palace, IQ.
Oh, I love those.
And you know, IQ. Of course.
IQ, that they were very good.
And the irony
not
is,
quite as good as Marillion, mind. I thought
and most of these bands are still going.
they are.
You know, which is incredible. So, you know, when you think that, you know, all these bands are still going and
All these bands still going, Steve.
they're still
Say
going.
it again.
They are. All these bands are
Yeah,
still
you
going.
said it twice. Both I'll say it 3
I'll say
times.
it again.
Yeah.
They're still going. Yeah, that, you know, they've stood the test of time. And basically,
But how long can they go on for? I mean, IQ, those guys, they must be in their 80s now, I would say. If you do a calculation of how old they are from when they first formed back in 1981. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been going for years. They can't keep going on,
Yeah.
can they?
Yeah.
I mean, old Peter Nichols can't keep dressing up as Death and coming out and doing all that stuff. And then with the white coat, you know, Dr. Powder, I think he's called.
Yeah.
They can't keep doing that. An older man can't do that,
Yeah.
dressing up in a silly way like that. So when they go, how are we going to keep prog going? We need to keep it going, don't we?
Yeah.
I feel we need to be bringing young people in because they do like it. I mean, they like things like Stephen Wilson and they like Pink
Yeah.
Floyd. The
Yeah,
people still
yeah,
like it.
Yeah, I think I've got to look at the younger bands like Dominic Sanderson, District 97, Kairos. They are the future of prog.
They are the future
Now,
of
whether
prog.
you agree with that, because I think there are a certain element of proggers out there who are still waiting for the next Genesis, Yes and ELP.
I am, yes.
You
Oh,
know.
that would be lovely, that would.
You know, now basically I consider them stuck in the 70s really. I wouldn't say that's progressive, that's more regressive. So I think for me, having been into prog since I was 14,
Do they have prog then?
it was just on the cusp.
Was it?
Just on the cusp.
1959? I find that hard to believe. I'm sure it's 1969 it started within Court of the Crimson King by
Well,
King
it had,
Crimson.
it had the first musings of prog in the middle 60s, didn't it?
Yeah, I
It
suppose
came
so,
out of the
yes.
psychedelic era.
Oh, I don't like psychedelic. I once smoked a joint back in 1985.
Really?
Yes,
You're
it was
still
on the
getting over
Misplaced Childhood tour.
Okay.
And I went green. I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
And Fish, I mean, I thought he had turned into an actual fish. It was most disturbing. And he put
What
me
kind
off
of
fishing.
fish? What kind of fish?
Oh, it was a big one.
Was it a cod?
No, bigger than that. I thought he might be a pike.
A pike?
Yes, he seemed like to be a pike. And they're aggressive fish, they are.
They are.
They are. You don't want to get on the wrong end of a pike, do you?
Yeah. So fish looked like a pike.
Yes, and you know something that people don't know. His pike was also a character in Dad's Army, played by Ian Lavender. And Ian Lavender was the best friend of Rick Wakeman. See?
Well, there's some more useless information I didn't know.
Well, I wouldn't say it's useless. I think that's the sort of stuff that's going to save prog when people find out about stuff like that. And they realise how interlinked it is to British culture.
Yeah.
Many people don't understand the Dad's Army yes link.
Wow.
But anyway, I
That's all
think
news to me.
these youngsters, of course, they don't go to gigs so much, do they? They are doing all the streaming and things like that, and they like to join clubs online
Streaming
and
seems to be the way to go.
do that top tick
We
and
do.
everything.
We do a streaming through Fusion as well. You know.
Yeah. So if we could get this Patreon off the ground, and I can help you do that with my, you know, now that Andy's brought me in as a,
Yes.
you know,
As
with,
an advocate.
yes, I think,
You're an
I mean,
advocate.
his audience, I know they like him, but they know he's a jack of all trades. He's a bloody jack of all trades, Andy is.
He is.
And they know that I really know my prog, so they will listen to me when I come on and tell you that you need to become a patron. That's the easiest way of doing it. You can buy tickets online. There's all those links are up. But I think in the long term, the best way to get involved in the Sunday Club is to become a patron. Free member. You can have a think about it, see what's going on, and just get yourself over there. And if you can, sign yourself up to the live stream, because I think it's going to be a very important way of opening up new avenues for progressive rock, and so that we can keep the thing alive, and that bands that would normally only be able to sell 10 tickets in any town can actually access a worldwide progressive rock audience,
right.
which could be 1,000 people. This will spread the word of prog, and before we know it, it won't be dying. You know, as IQ and bloody Meridian get to their last prog gasps, you know, which can't be long. It can't be long, can it? I mean, Steve Rothery's not a healthy chap, is he?
I've no idea.
It doesn't look like it, does it, to me anyway? I do worry about it. And of course, you lot, the audience that like progressive rock, you're all really old too, so I'm sure we've had a couple drop off watching this now.
Yeah.
You know, because they probably got too excited. They thought Pat Mastellato sat on this very place. Anyway, that last bit was quite sensible. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I have sold it for you. Become a Patreon right now and save Prog. Because if you don't become a Patreon, it's free. You call yourself a progressive rock fan. You're not unless you sign up to this Patreon. You have to do it out of guilt. So go on, click on the link. Don't do it right now. I won't be. You'll have the muggle after you. You don't want the muggle after you, I tell you. If I get angry, it's terrible.
Really?
Yes. I will put a sarcastic comment up on your Facebook or something if I feel so inclined.
Well, anonymously?
No, Mr. Muggle. I'll say Barry Muggle. I'm not afraid of these people.
No.
Well,
Okay.
you know, I'm not afraid of
You're
it.
not afraid of any kind of retribution?
No.
No?
Did you not see when the last Stephen Wilson album came out, the overview?
Yes.
I put the comment. Remember the guy that came up and said it's quite good, but I was a bit bored in places. You know that comment that came up. I thought it did shake up the progressive rock scene a little bit when I put that up.
It did attract...
I had 4 likes on that one.
It did attract some interest, definitely.
I think so.
Definitely. And this is the one thing we've got to do because, as you say, we're an ageing audience.
Yes.
That's the one big thing that we're up against. And I think one of the biggest things that had a detrimental effect on the live music scene was lockdown, COVID.
That was a terrible thing.
And I think a lot of people are still embracing that. They call it cocooning, did you know? Yeah. And I think the 2 biggest things we're up against...
Is that your phone?
No, it was.
Who was that?
My daughter.
You should have answered that. Don't worry about them. Your daughter could be in all sorts of trouble. I think we should take that as a cue to maybe finish up this video.
Is that right?
Yes. So, in conclusion...
Join the Patreon.
It's the easiest way of doing it. Well, when Steve came out a couple of weeks ago, we hadn't got the Patreon, but now it's set up. It's the easiest way of doing it. And because the thing is, you could sign up. You don't have to worry about it. You could get out any month. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to sign up for just 1 month. You could just do 1 stream. But the thing is, you're going to get a ton of content because in a few years' time, this Patreon will be filled with all the live streams. You're going to put
I've got so many videos to share with you guys. You would not believe.
All sorts of videos. And some of them are with the progressive rock bands.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want you doing all that Rick Wakeman thing and coming out the closet, though. I think we don't want any of that in progressive rock, do we? Coming out the closet.
Oh, no.
No?
No, definitely not. That ain't going to be happening.
No?
No.
We don't.
Definitely staying in the closet.
They should stay in the closet.
Yes.
You know.
The only time you should come out of the closet is if you're going to sign up for the Patreon.
Yes, come out of your closet to sign up to the Patreon. I think we're going on for too long now. Shall we finish up there? We're done anyway. Can I switch this thing off? How do I switch it off? Let's have a look. Which button is it, Steve? Can you switch it off for me? Do that for me.
That one there.
Yeah.
You think you're funky, but you ain't funky. 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 You think you're funky, but you ain't funky.
Well, this video has been a strange video, hasn't it? I think I'm going to call it Triptych. Now, a triptych is actually a painting that's in 3 parts, and they all sort of relate, although I don't know whether this relates or not. I don't know. Anyway, shall we just turn you around, hopefully? We're just going to get you out of the thing there.
And to the girls I knew before, and those I've yet to meet, power to all our friends, to the music that never ends.
So for me, Cliff Richard pumps above his weight in terms of British rock and roll history, just for his tracks like Move It and Dynamite that really ushered in British rock and roll, which put the emphasis on guitar. His work in the Shadows was seminal. But as time went on, he moves to being quite a middle of the road artist, but he's a great middle of the road artist. And by the 1970s, you had tracks like It's So Funny, how We Don't Talk Anymore, Carrie Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Wired for Sound, Devil Woman. These are brilliant pop songs. And so my first memory was Cliff saying, well, I will do Eurovision. And I can't remember the song he had. I think it was actually quite cheesy, but very good. So we've got one of our best performers coming, a legend going on. And of course, he doesn't win. It doesn't win at all. And this set up a sort of precedent for us here in the UK that our position in Europe has always been slightly outside, to say the least. All Europe's together. They all travel. You know, if you live on the western coast of France, you'll be popping into Spain, and you know, it's right on your doorstep. If you live on the other side, you got Belgium and Switzerland there on your doorstep. You know, the Swiss have got the Belgium, and they've got the Dutch have got the Germans, and they're all there. They're all milling together. They're all Europeans, right? The British, we're not like that, and the Europeans know that. We've got the English Channel between us, and we're not European. We never have been European, and we could tell. Even though we stood up to the bloody Nazis in the 1940s, right? Even though if we hadn't been there standing up for them, we'd all be Nazis now, and we'd be involved in some Nazi song contest of which there would be no Jews involved. So, but that doesn't matter. And so you could see certain, and this has become a joke, hasn't it? And of course, with the Eurovision Song Contest, in my time, you had, I think it was Katie Boyle when I was very young, but Terry Wogan took it over at some point, and he brought to it a very English, even though he's from Ireland, and I know that he's Irish and he's from Limerick and all that type of stuff, but there is a certain whimsy, silliness, surrealism, and just gentle fun poking that Wogan brought to the Eurovision Song Contest, which was absolutely wonderful. And so when certain countries inevitably gave us nil point, he was there to be able to just make us aware that we knew and he knew, but he wasn't going to say it outright. And that was a wonderful thing when Terry Wogan, absolutely one of the greats, one of the few celebrities where I actually cried when he died. I can remember exactly where I was. I was outside a chip shop, and that was what made, for me, the Eurovision so great. And even now, with the people who ever do it now, it'll be some, you know, younger person with a nice haircut, whoever it is. But they will still be trying to bring to it what Terry did so gently, but so anarchically. There was a gentle anarchy to what Terry Wogan did. So, in 1974, ABBA, with their Waterloo, sort of, not only did they win it, but I think they're one of the first, they've got to be the first Eurovision Song Contest winner to then go on to become not just an important act, but an absolutely huge act. I mean, Eurovision has really created one middle-of-the-road, soulless superstars, and it's ABBA, right? And their method of songwriting is almost textbook Eurovision Song Contest. And so we had this tune, Waterloo. The following year, if I remember rightly, the British then put forward the Brotherhood of Man, which really was a carbon copy of ABBA. Now, the tune that I remember by Brotherhood of Man, and I'm not too sure whether this was in the Eurovision Song Contest, but they did a tune called Angelo, who, if I remember rightly, lived on a hillside in Mexico, but I'm not too sure. Now, Angelo, of course, was a carbon copy, a direct rip-off, almost sort of Led Zepp level rip-off of Fernando. And I can remember, the earliest memory I have is that we won it. We won it with Brotherhood of Man, and I can remember watching it on TV, and I can remember them actually being on stage, and I can remember my family being excited, and I can remember that I was excited. And even though I had no interest in the music, and neither did my mum and dad, we felt proud that we had won. And every time we win,
we think that we have now, we've mastered it. And we then fall from grace. And then there was a number of years that went by until Bucks Fizz came out, and with their skirt ripping antics, they were able to bring it back to us again. And that was like 6 years. I think that's 1981. 6 years, you know, and we thought we've got it nailed. We have this, you know, us, the British, who are the best at popular music in the world, you know, except for maybe the Americans. So they then come in 1981, and Bucks Fizz are able to build upon that, and they have a number of hit records here in the UK. They never achieved the heights of ABBA, but they did end up doing The Land of Make Believe, which is one of those singles that seems to occupy the same space as a whole bunch of sort of early 80s extravagant pop music. I would also put Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart in there. I would also put Yes's 90125, ABC, Lexicon of Love. There was a grandiosity that seemed to bring in elements of progressive rock, and the most commercial end of it was possibly this sort of, you know, very poppy but very epic tune that they did, Land of Make Believe, which I remember had the girls in the band, because this was the era of having two girls in the band cavorting about in sort of silvery space outfits. That's when pop music was truly good. We're never going to see anything like that again. Now, I think we won again with Katrina and the Waves. And I have to be honest, Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine, is just such a classic song. I have spent many a wedding behind a drum kit playing that song. Even now, I think I did it a few months ago. So that works. Katrina and the Waves, they came up with just a really good pop song. And what are the songs that do well on Eurovision? They're really, really upbeat. There is not an ounce of negativity in there, right? It is all fun, sunshine, happiness, lots of leaping about. And I think you need to go for that double time beat, the Waterloo beat, which goes bum ba bum ba bum ba ba, but it's like a soul beat. So that is what I would go for, you know. So I'm walking on sunshine, oh, you know, or or Waterloo, slightly different, slightly shuffled, but it's got to have that. And I think that's the mistake we're making. We're not writing those tunes. We need one that goes, and we're British and we're the best, but not that, but it basically needs to say that. You know, all the other ones aren't as good as us because we're great and happy and snappy. I will do it next year if they want. I will do it. I'll write it. I might even perform it. You know, I'm pretty sure I could do better than whatever we've been throwing at it for the last few years. Because the last few years, we have succumbed to trying to chase some idea of what pop music is. We're following, we're not leading. That's the problem. We're not leading, and that's why we're not winning it. That's why we're not getting anywhere. Now, the thing is, I think what I've just described probably only works for British people. If you're Irish, you can come out and sing some sort of lovey-dovey forlorn song, and then maybe get some people to do all that dancing that they do, you know, the old river dance thing. And Riverdance, remember when that came out and it was like way better than anything that actually been on Eurovision Song Contest? Do you remember that? And so that just gave Ireland this extra bloody kick up the arse. So they won it after week, you know, year after year. They won it, and eventually they didn't win it. Recently, it has become a sort of the playground of the gender colourful, shall we say. There's been much championing of anybody that is from some sort of different identity, and last year it got to a point where they really had almost like Satanists on stage. Genderqueer Satanism reared its head last year, if I remember rightly, but over the last few years I have really lost interest in it. And it's still there, it's still going. The media always come on and they say it's cheesy, it's rubbish, but even the end we all really like it, we'll all be there watching it. Well, I don't know whether that is the case, but I don't want to be too negative about it, as you would expect. I actually want to come out here and say the fundamental idea we need no more than everything else. We need something that brings Europe together. Do you remember when we had that Sam bloke with the beard? His was brilliant. And I saw him, big smiley face. We have to be like Sunshine, because we're the British, they all hate us. So we've really got to go for it. Real full of sunshine. It's like full on Norman wisdom. You know, we've got to go out there, smile, Teletubbies. It's all that. That's what we have to do to get them to forget about the fact that they all hate us. Right? And that Sam bloke came out. I can't remember what his name was. It was Sam something. And he had I thought it was a really great song. He was a brilliant performer. And we won it. And that was 3 years ago when the Ukrainians, you know, had gone to war with Russia. So Ukrainian just got they got it, didn't they? Which it was good. I mean, it was the right thing to do, wasn't it? Right. I mean, if the UK, I mean, it just sums the UK up, doesn't it? It sums it up. I should be really saying that Sam bloke, that was our last great win. I've just heard the tune. I can't remember anything about it. I know I heard a lot of vocal harmonies and it had the word hell in it, which is it's edgy for Eurovision Song Contest, but it's fake edgy. I don't know. Right, they need to get me in to do it. Right, so I'm putting it out there. Next year, I will write a Eurovision and perform the British Eurovision song entry. I will come up with something that's sunshiny and snappy and is happy. Something like I'm a happy man with a happy plan. Let's bring some sunshine to everyone. Let's jump around and have some fun. Let's have a water fight today. But I don't know, then I'll have something that rhymes with day, like even though it's only May, but with global warming, it's really hot. And so let's just forget and I don't know. I could bring global warming into it. So I could have the sunshine, but go, yeah, the sunshine's great. But remember, the sunshine might be because there's global warming going on. Is that too dark? But I think if I could spread a message of get out in the sun, there's loads of fun, but please remember, that it might be a symptom of global warming, and in a few years' time we might be all gasping for breath as our climate has changed so much that there's not enough food or water for us to survive, and certain, you know, countries have gone under the water, and there's less land, and there's also droughts going on, and people are in tidal waves and all that type of stuff, and they're all screaming, and it's all like those disaster movies that came out in the late 90s. All that is going on. But it's a sunny day today. Something like that. I'm sketching ideas. It's all rough at the moment. You know, I think we should go with that. But the other thing is, I think it needs to be topical as well. I think it needs to be topical, the song does. So I think we need to get into what's going on right now. So what's going on in our country right now? Well, I don't want to get into all the sort of, and we don't want to get to that immigration thing, do we? We don't really want to song about, and we don't want any immigrants coming in anymore. Keir Starmer has joined forces with the alt-right. We don't want that, do we? So, but we don't want to be saying welcome everybody, because they might start coming back. I mean, we had all the Polish in here, then they went, well, I wish we could have them back now. Didn't mind them so much. Anyway, I am joking. I am being facetious. I'm trying to have a bit of a laugh, which is what we need. We need a little bit of a laugh. We need a little bit of humour. We need something that's dry. We need something that the Europeans don't get. A, they've got no sense of humour like us, and B, they don't understand the language. So we need something that's all sunshiny and happy. But anybody who's got to look at any sort of edginess knows that it's a little bit pointed, you know, just like the Bucks Fizz tune. Because I do believe underneath all that niceness and happiness and skirt ripping, there was a darker theme underneath there, wasn't there? If you think about it, go and check the lyrics out. You know, what was it called? Yeah, I can remember, hear the melody. Oh, taking my time. I'll tell you what they did with that. It was a work of genius. They have a set of lyrics that actually mean nothing. They seem like they're moving towards meaning all the time, but they don't actually say anything, so they don't upset anybody. And in that way, they lampoon popular music by seeming like it's about something when it's actually about nothing. And that's a difficult thing to do. I could do something like that, you know, where you go like, I want to have some more, well then I might not want some more. I might have some less today, and I might just go out and play, but I might not play out. I don't know. It was all that type of stuff. You say you're going to do something, then say you're not going to do it, and people say, well, what's going on with you? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm happy. I'm out in the sunshine, and I'm so happy. I'm ripping girls' skirts off, which of course in 1981 you could do with abandon. Not now. No skirt ripping now. Can't do that. You can wear a skirt regardless of who you are. I could go on in a skirt. No one's going to say anything. They're going to like that. Right? But you can't go ripping skirts off. That's terrible. We live in trouble sometimes, and when you get to my age, it's quite hard to negotiate your way through, but I'm trying my best. Anyway, this is the end of the video. This has been called Triptych 3. I think I've had it, you know why I've done this video? Because my ideas are just like falling apart at the moment. I've not been well this week. I've struggled my way through. It's boiling hot. It's Friday. I need a break. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to have a nice cool drink and sit down and edit this video together. I know it's been a mess. I do apologise. It won't get any views because there's no real video that there's no real... there is no... Oh, my God. This is the limit. I'm right at the limit now. I am at the limit. All right? I am at the YouTubing limit. I am at the limit, everybody. I am at the limit. You're all going to be saying, Andy, you need to go and take a break, aren't you? That's what you're all going to be saying now. Andy, take a break. Take a break, because it's all going a bit weird. And you're funny, but now you're under pressure. It seems like you're going a bit nuts. I might be going a bit nuts. You never know. Bloody hell, it's hot as well, and I'm thirsty. Please like this video. Please put loads of comments on it. It's not going to do very well. It is what it is. It will serve a function. It's only Tuesday. I mean, what do you want on a Tuesday? This nonsense. And be honest, Tisziji Munoz at the big... Oh, God, I can't even say that. Tisziji Munoz at the beginning, didn't that blow you away? Didn't that blow you away? And then you got me as Barry Muggle. That was all right, wasn't it? And then you've had me trying to save the Eurovision Song Contest. This video's full of all sorts of wonder. Stop moaning. They're not moaning, and it's you that's moaning. You're preempting it at the moment. Anyway, stick a like on it, stick a subscribe on it, go and join Patreon, and I'll be back tomorrow with a proper video that's got some substance in it. Thank you all. See you soon.